In the crowded halls of Congress, where polished speeches and rehearsed smiles often hide the raw emotions of politics, one voice recently broke through the noise with the power of truth. Katherine Clark, the House Minority Whip, stood before the cameras, her eyes steady yet heavy with the weight of grief that was not only political but deeply human. She called the suffering in Gaza what so many had been afraid to say out loud: a genocide. It wasn't the kind of statement that earns easy applause in Washington. It was a statement that risked her standing, her reputation, and even her political future. Yet in that moment, Katherine was not speaking as a politician chasing headlines. She was speaking as a mother, a daughter, and a woman who knew what it meant to carry pain and transform it into courage. Her journey to that moment had been anything but simple. Katherine grew up in Connecticut, in a household where compassion was not just a virtue, it was a duty. Her parents taught her that silence in the face of suffering was as damaging as the suffering itself. That lesson stayed with her through law school, through her early years of public service, and through the battles she faced on behalf of families in Massachusetts. But Washington, D.C., is a place where conviction often bends under the weight of compromise. Many leaders learn to choose words carefully, to avoid controversy, to guard their political capital like gold. Katherine Clark could have followed that same path. She could have stayed quiet, let others speak, and avoided the storm. Yet, when confronted with the images of children caught in the crossfire, mothers weeping over shattered homes, and entire communities erased, silence was no longer an option. The night before her speech, she sat at her desk surrounded by stacks of reports and photographs. Colleagues advised her to soften her tone, to speak diplomatically. But Katherine could hear her mother's voice echoing from years ago: if you see someone hurting, and you do nothing, then you are part of the hurt. So, she chose to risk it all. And in that moment on Capitol Hill, when she spoke the word genocide, the chamber fell silent. It was more than politics, it was truth spoken in a place built to hide it. Her words sent ripples across the nation. To some, she became a hero who dared to call suffering by its real name. To others, she became a target of criticism, attacked for breaking the unwritten rules of political speech. Yet Katherine never flinched. She knew leadership was not about being safe, it was about being brave enough to stand where others refused to. For millions watching from afar, Katherine Clark's voice carried something that has grown rare in American politics: humanity. She reminded people that behind every policy, every headline, and every vote, there are human lives hanging in the balance. And in choosing to speak, she became not just a politician in power but a conscience in a time of silence.
Whose inspiring story of politician would you like to hear next? Tell us in the comments below.